Hi, everyone. I'm Anne Marie. Thank you so much for coming to the launch for the Write Some Cool Shit debut. This is not only the debut for Write Some Cool Shit, but it is the very first maiden voyage for my publishing house, Star Belt Press. I knew that I had it in my mind that I wanted to have a publishing house. I watched my friends do it successfully, like Camari, who's a special guest today. And just, it's a lot of work. It's a huge, you have to have a lot of passion for it. And it's a lot of work without much financial gain if you're not Penguin Random House. So you have to feel really passionately about what you're doing. And the thing that pushed me into it was not finding a home for my travel memoir, Happy Iceland. And not just because, and it wasn't because it was poorly written. It was in the beginning when I first started writing it 10 years ago. But then I was getting more comments saying that my book was beautifully written, but they can't sell it to publishers. That it that nobody cares about a memoir written by, someone that they don't know, and so they can't sell it, and so it's a no for them. And that was so disheartening. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. And so Starbelt Press was born. It's an homage to my son, Orion, and the star belt of Orion's constellation. But also, 5 stars in a row is, what you're looking for in a book. So I'm hoping that Starbelt Press will also live up to its name. And my hope for Starbelt Press is that I start with the prompt book and then publish Happy Iceland next year. And then I hope to start publishing other people's books the year after that and focusing on travel memoirs written by women and non-binary people so that their voices can be heard and amplified. All right, enough about that. I would love to jump right in. So I have a panel of special guests today who very graciously agreed to choose a prompt from Write Some Cool Shit and then write some cool shit from the prompt. So I'll be introducing them as we go along, and then they will be reading the prompt that they chose that they were inspired by, and the what they created in response to it. I'm going to put a program in the chat that you can follow along with. Do, 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 do. Here you go. And the first creative person we have up to share their work is Neha Misra, who is an award-winning poet, contemporary eco-folk artist, and climate justice advocate. Her interdisciplinary practice builds creative bridges between private, collective, and planetary healing. Neha is a 2023 to 2025 Hamiltonian Artists Fellow, 2024 Taproot Artist in Residence with the North Carolina Climate Justice Collective, and 2022 Public Voices Fellow on the Climate Crisis, an initiative of the Op-Ed Project and the Yale Program on Climate Change Communication to change who writes history. All right, I would love to welcome now Neha Misra. Welcome, Neha.
Hey there. Hi, Anne Marie, and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me, and heartiest congratulations on this stunning book and Starbell Press. So nice to be here with old friends, new friends. The prompt that inspired me relates to your opening remarks. This is from the page for January 3. I'm going to read the prompt. It says, inspired by Kim Liao's LitHub article, Why You Should Aim for 100 Rejections a Year, writer Renee Bibby started the annual rejection competition. This free, easygoing contest tracks which participants receive the most literary rejections within a calendar year. She even created multiple divisions of reject rhinos to level the playing field for those who submit their work for publication a lot versus those who don't submit as much or those who are new to the submission process. I know personally, as do I, while participating in the competition, whenever I received a rejection, the sting was mitigated by the satisfaction of adding it to my tally on the contest sheet. Today, get behind the steering wheel of rejection, write a rejection letter to yourself or someone else. You probably don't want to send it though. I do. I convert my rejections into poems. They are so glorious. Thank you. I really appreciated this prompt because I have a folder in my inbox, which is the title of this poem I have written. It's called Reject the Rejections. So here, presenting the debut of Reject the Rejections. Reject the Rejections, Part 1, Fire. In this new story, I reject the rejections, each and every one of their false projections, every pretentious effort to force assimilations, each and every one of their grave provocations, every Blair email of my submittable rejections. In this new story, I reject the rejections, clouds over my Mount Everest of rejections, condensing raging fires of agony into pouring rains of connections. Yes, yes, yes. Some sour grapes make such delicious wines. Reject the rejections, part two, water. From the stones of rejections, I have built the temple of self acceptance. When I cross this threshold, when I cross this threshold, I leave behind all the scores, all the trophies, all the report cards, the prize long sought, already bestowed to see myself in the glistening mirror of most holy temple's inner sanctum, the deity of being witnessed with love by myself and you. Thank you so much for accepting my reign of rejections.
Thank you so much, Neha. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. I love that so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, and you have some love in the chat too. Up next, we have our special guest, Martheaus Perkins. Martheaus is the author of The Grace of Black Mothers from Trio House Press. His name is a collection of each woman who helped raise him. Mar was his grandmother, Thea is his mother's name, and Us represents his two aunties. Martheus's work has appeared in Black Warrior Review, Belwat, and Obsidian. He lives and teaches in Virginia. Please welcome Martheaus Perkins.
Well, thank you so much, Anne Marie, and I'm so excited. I'm really humbled to be asked to be here, and I love that the beginning of Star Belt Press is an event that brings so many different writers together, and a book that allows writers to be kind of broken out of our blocks that come up or whatever kind of anguish that comes up in writing. I've been reading a lot of the book because I actually do often struggle when it comes to needing to be prompted to write. But I want to get right into it. I have selected December 6th within the book to have my prompt, which is cool because I'm noticing now that one of the special guests is actually the person whose day I've selected, Andres Sanchez or Andy. I'm seeing their name here. So anyway, I'll read the prompt. Andres Sanchez is a queer trans-Mexican poet who migrated to the US at age 5. Their full-length collection of poetry, The Spotty, debuted in December 2021. about their book. They wrote what started as a book about heartbreak became something more, a journey of self-love and reclaiming my identity. This body turned into an anthem, a way to reconcile past mistakes and imagine a brighter path forward. It was a moment to forgive myself and finally leave the past where it belongs, which I thought was beautifully rendered by them. And so the prompt is to write about heartbreak. As the writing progresses, imagine a brighter path forward within the writing. And writing about heartbreak was pretty difficult for me, but I'll give it a shot. And I'm sharing a fairly early draft here, and so I'm excited to share something early within the process here. This one is called Folk Tales You Saved from Drowning. And let's give it a shot. Folk tales you saved from drowning. Multi-tongued lover, you called me ghetto for saying or proving a bowl of 4-cheese mashed potatoes was just as successful an aphrodisiac as strawberries. Even those strawberries that wear chocolate lace. Even those strawberries whose brows are drenched with cream drizzle. You blamed yourself for spilling wine on our chests. Then you, bless your heart, took the blame for a lipstick stain on my neck that I'm sure I left for myself 8 lives ago. And as you dabbed your silk scarf on my color wound, a tumor, the one I once named nothing, gifted me memories we have yet to write. A future where we wrap ourselves in a picnic blanket, our legs flaky with dry paint, and knot our bodies through each other as tight as a noose around a black neck. Lovers, loved, soon to be loves. No thing is sweeter than lying lentils on a clay supper table at noontime, tearing injera, soaking cornbread and stew, feeding folk tales to whatever inner child remains undrowned by our stomach acid. This is as close my mouth can get to reciting a love poem within a country so hungry for killing children. The smell of my breath roots the words inside my throat. This breath of gas station wings, a dash of rosé, old kisses, and decomposing family names. My voice begins to tremble, so you ask if I need a breath of fresh air. I try being cute with you. I try not to hyperventilate, surrounded by these false oaks. No, I tell you, not a breath of fresh air. All I ask for is the deepest breath a dying animal can steal from under their god's nose. A breath like yours, my love. I appreciate the prompt, and thank you for the gathering.
Thank you so much, Martheaus, for that beautiful writing. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for being a part of this launch. Okay, up next we have Dr. Julia McDonald. She is a physician, writer, and international humanitarian. McDonald's writing has appeared in mainstream news media as advocacy for patients and commentary on the intersection of politics and medicine. More recent works appear in The Sun, the Journal of American Medical Association, JAMA, Please See Me, Beyond Queer Words, So to Speak, and The Right Launch. Their first book, Hysteriography, Poems About Uteruses, Menstruation, Pregnancy, Abortion, Loss, and Childbirth, was released in 2025. Please welcome Dr. Julia McDonald.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie, and hello to everybody. I am so excited and honored to be here tonight to celebrate this amazing book. Oh my goodness, it's blurry. I don't know if you all can see it. It is so cool and so much fun. The prompt that I chose is from April 30th. Anne-Marie writes, on April 30th, 2023, my first poetry collection, Survived By, A Memory in Verse and Other Poems, debuted. On the back cover, I wrote, these lines helped me survive. Do what you need with them to survive too. Draw on these pages or tear them out. Carry a poem in your pocket or give it to someone else. Cross out my words and write your own. Make a collage. Use them as kindling. Just show me what you create. Today, take someone else's writing and recreate it so that it is more meaningful to you by writing over the writer's words with your own. So, I actually decided to write a golden shovel poem, which is a poetic technique that was invented by a poet named Terence Hayes. The idea is that you take a line from somebody else's poem, and then the last word on each line of your poem is that line. The poem that I used for my golden shovel poem is called One for the Forest by our very own Anne Marie Wells from her chapbook, Mother, Verb. And for those who might be listening for it, the phrase or the line that I used is clouds paint the sky in watercolors as I commit my feet to the earth, blessing, blessing in stillness. I call this poem Rooted. Your lashes catch flakes of clouds falling earthwards. The cold is flushing paint on your lips, nose tip. Your hand, the balloon string holding me from skylift. My heart, steady whoosh in this cushioned silence of grayscale watercolors, buried fields, century trees, looking on as if nothing is urgent, as if everything is okay. I know the world needs all of me, yet I commit a piece to you, my surprise love. Together, may our feet walk the rooted trail towards justice to ease the grief of neighbors. The work we are tasked with here on earth is great. To do it is a blessing. To do it with you, a greater blessing. I'm not much for prayer, so hand in hand with you, my gratitude and resolve swell in the stillness. Thank you so much, Anne Marie, for letting me be a part of this group and a part of an early look at this really wonderful book. I'm so excited to see it go out into the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. I have goosebumps and I'm so, so touched and surprised by the prompt that you chose and also what you created with it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I started getting teary. I was like, oh my God. When you said One for the Forest, I'm like, I think I wrote a poem titled that. I did.
You did. And for anybody who hasn't read the chapbook, Mother, Verb, I had the honor of receiving it from Anne Marie, and I stood in my kitchen and read it just standing, leaning against a counter, crying and laughing. It is just exquisite poetry, very raw and honest and beautiful. So when you finish with Write Some Cool Shit, look up this chapbook.
Thank you, Julia. I that really means so much to me. I appreciate those very, very kind words. Thank you. Okay, we'll continue on. Next we have Talisha J, my very good poetry friend, who is a Black queer poet and teaching artist. She has multiple Pushcart Prize and Best of Net nominations. She is currently a reader with Frontier Poetry and Alternating Current Press and assistant managing editor with Famiden Journal. She is a co-founder of Camp Right Start, curates generative writing workshops, and hosts a monthly publication submission space. Her work has appeared in Torch Literary Arts, Peach Fuzz, Lucky Jefferson, and more. Please welcome Talisha J.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm just like really, I don't know. I have lots of thoughts and feelings, but I'm just gonna get into into this instead of sharing them. But thank you, Anne-Marie. Oh wow. Um, so I chose April 19th And this is because it involves the rib cage, which I'm going to read about. So, a rib cage is not just the skeletal structure that houses the heart and lungs in the human body, it is also a poetic form. Invented by Athena Liu during the Speakeasy Project's growth workshop led by Torrin A. Greathouse, a rib cage alternates 12 times between 12-syllable lines and a monosyllabic word written in brackets. At the end of the poem, the bracketed words, or spine, are read from top to bottom. Today, try your hand at a rib cage. Pro tip, starting with the spine first can be helpful. And I love the rib cage. Anne Marie introduced me to this form, I think last year, and I fell in love with it. Maybe it was the year before. I don't, time is a weird thing. But shout out to Anne Marie for teaching me something new, and also it's I've written two that have gotten published and I've gotten paid for them. So thank you for making me money, Anne Marie. I appreciate you. um, anyway, I'm gonna share my ribcage. I'm also gonna share a link in case anyone wants to see what the form looks like. But yeah, this is Body Mind Economy. A ribcage after Athena Liu. Capitalism hopes we will believe lies like rest is only for the wicked, the lazy, that work is how we show our worth in this society, to not break our backs, callous our hands, bleed dry to the bone, a weakness. Infinite propaganda surrounds this thing that our bodies and minds need and crave in order to do anything. It took me years to learn rest can be a guiltless exchange between me and the world, not earned, freely given, because my body says it's time. It says, fuck your finance bros, I'm taking a nap. It is tired of the capitalist rhetoric on our choice to sit or lay or abstain like it's not our right. Rest is not a thing to be earned. It is our right. Thank you so much, Anne Marie, for inviting me to be a part of this lovely night. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you so much, Talisha. I had a feeling that maybe you were going to choose the ribcage because I know that you are such a fan of that poetic form, but I had no expectations, but that first of all just blew me out of the water. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that work and also for demonstrating the form in the link. And when I post this video, I'll include the link to it in the I don't know, caption or whatever. Thank you, Talisha. Now, unfortunately, Nacho Garrido is not here, so we are going to move on to Camari Hawkins, who is here. And Camari Carter Hawkins is the author of Death by Comb, Some, and Right Back to You. And she is the founder of Mama's Kitchen Press. Please welcome Camari Carter Hawkins.
Hey y'all, hey, good evening. Congratulations, Anne-Marie, on a fantastic book. It is so much fun and it's really gorgeous. And I'm really proud of you for just knowing all the different hoops and things you had to jump to get this book out. And I've always admired your tenacity. Like, you don't stop. You find ways to make it happen. And I find you very resilient and I admire you so much. So yes, cheers to you. I did a basic thing, but as I read mine, you'll know why I chose it. I chose my birthday, January 1st, but mostly because I've also hated my birthday. And I really love the prompt that you did. I was like, let me see what she's going to do with this January 1st. Make a goal. Say, what is your day? We always do that. And I love that it was the opposite of that. I was like, yes. So the prompt says, Happy New Year. Approximately 30 to 40% of Americans make New Year's resolutions. That's over 100 million people. However, research suggests only about 19% end up keeping their resolutions and nearly half give up by the end of January. So this year, I encourage you to be a quitter. That's right, be a quitter. Not achieving a New Year's resolution can cause unnecessary shame, self-deprecation, and or self-loathing. Who needs that? Not you. Instead of writing about what you would like to resolve to do this year, write about untethering yourself from New Year's resolutions. I was like, this problem about the free meat. So I didn't quite write a, I wanted to write a poem, but I ended up writing like almost like a manifesto type affirmation situation. And I was like, I'm gonna print this shit out and I'm going to put this on my damn wall. Okay, so I put, let me stop cussing. Anybody, any kids? Okay, here we go. Consent. Okay. So this is called I Quit. Everyone criticizes people born under Capricorn sun for being ambitious and way too serious. But imagine being born on a day when everyone shares their goals, dreams, insecurities, unresolved regret, and plans to take over the world on your birthday. You'd be born in ambitious waters and irritated about it as well. For this reason, I've never had a hobby. I'd approach them with a goal, purpose, or ending in mind. Want to learn to paint? Be sure to make them really good so you can sell them at markets. Want to learn the piano? Start a band and tour Europe, or get really good so you can get paid to teach lessons. Become a writer? Then write the type of books that sell. Forget poetry and experimental genres. You'll want to leave a legacy. So start a publishing company and scale it so you can become an imprint of a big five. Should any of these not work, drop them right away and start a new hobby with the hopes of monetizing them. Every sweet, simple enjoyment in life has been tainted by ambition. In 2026, I will quit ambition. Well, at least when it comes to hobbies. I quit everything becoming a hustle. I quit questioning if I'm wasting time fumbling over learning piano scales. I quit self-shame for never working my fingers to the white meat for a chance to play at the Philharmonic. I quit questioning if I were ever good enough. I untether myself from the pressure to climb every mountaintop. I make peace with hobbies, only reaching the valley and stretching it across far and wide. I embrace that I may be mediocre at some hobbies, and it's okay. Because I will call them mine and resist sharing them online and creating content around it. The mountains I want to climb in 2026 are contentment, happiness, peace, and radical acceptance. Oh, yeah. And I quit going to vision board parties. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. I'm so proud of you, friends. So proud of you. Everyone buy books and give them away to people. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you
Be
so
ambitious about this book.
Thank you so much, Camari. I need to take that manifesto and like put it on my bathroom mirror so that I can look at it all the time. I feel like I feel like that's the nature of our culture is that if we do anything, then we have to figure out how to make money off of it instead of just like enjoying it for the value, the innate value that it has. Maybe my 2026 goal should be to just have a hobby and not tell anyone. I'm going to pick up a new hobby and keep it a secret for a whole year. I have to decide what hobby that is going to be, though. Thank you again so much. Okay, our next special guest is James Coates. And James, are you there?
I am here. Let me see. It might be a little dark. I'm doing some traveling, but I am happy to be here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Let me introduce you, though.
Okay.
I didn't read your bio. All
Oh,
right. James Coates is an award-winning author, poet, and educator from Southern California. You can take a poetry workshop with him through his organization, Lift Our Voices Education, which hosts an award-winning workshop monthly called Be the Change Social Justice Writing Workshop. He's a 2023 Poetry Pushcart Prize nominee. Everyone, please welcome James.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Congratulations on the book. I love all the prompts. I like a prompt theme. Uh, so I'm always looking for ways to interact with new writing, new poetry, and there are tons of great prompts in here. The prompt I chose was for November 13th, and it states, Jal Aluddin Rumi was a poet who lived in the 13th century in what is now Afghanistan and Tajikistan. One of his most famous poems, The Guest House, compares a human being to a guest house for emotions and experiences, advising the reader to welcome each like they would welcome a visitor in their home. In a translation by Coleman Barks, Rumi writes, even if they're a crown of sorrow who violently sweeps your house, empty its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Today, write about your emotions as if they are unexpected visitors to your home. How does each behave when they arrive? What brought them there? How would you interact with them during their stay? When and how do they leave? This is my piece, Auntie Autumn or Seasonal Sorrow. Loves to show up to the house unannounced. She tends to arrive around the holidays when finances are tight and stress is high. No letter, email, or phone call. Just there at your front door after work, 6 p.m., standing with a suitcase of unwanted feelings like loneliness, criticism, despair. The problem is you never know when or how long she's going to stay. Simply that you can't get rid of her. And when she finally leaves, your whole world looks like it's been hit by a hurricane. She throws out all the healthy groceries and replaces it with sweets, fast food, and fatty snacks. She leaves the kitchen a mess, doesn't take out the trash, throws her clothes all over the living room. You do your best to be reasonable. She gaslights you into feeling like it's your fault. You remind yourself to be patient with her, but she covers the window so no lights get in, unplugs the alarm clock, and keeps the TV on 24/7. Takes hour-long showers and uses all the shampoo. You can't get a good night's sleep without worrying she might burn the house down, and you with it. Your exercise routine is broken. Even had to call off work a few times. You cry on your lunch break or in the car before going inside. She tells you that the things that brought you joy are useless and stupid, and that you need more money, that you have fallen short of your potential. Lists all the people you've disappointed, sucks pleasantness out of the atmosphere and replaces it with gloom, bitterness, and regret. When you don't think you can take any more, when almost every ounce of hope has seeped through the cracks in your spirit, poof, she's gone. No note, no goodbye, just up and disappeared. Your mental state wrecked. The overwhelming sense of dread that comes with waking up begins to roll back like the tide, and you are left to rebuild from this stormy season, beaten but alive. Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much, James. So relatable. I felt a lot of those words very deeply. Thank you so much for sharing that very poignant poem. Okay, I think our last special guest is Andres Sanchez, Andy. He is a queer trans Mexican poet migrating to the US at age 5. They grew up in Southern California and Las Vegas, Nevada. Andy has been featured at more than 60 poetry events in Los Angeles and across the US. They are an alum of the Anafra Arts Writing Residency and a former instructor with the Community Literature Initiative. Their work appears in Acid Verse, Queer Uprising, Resurrection Magazine, Livewire Magazine, and Songs from Another Sun BIPOC Anthology. Please welcome Andy.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for that introduction, Anne-Marie, and congratulations on the release of your book. It is a really awesome prompt book to have. And as I was looking through it when I got a copy of it, just looking at all of the things, how creative it was for you to put all of this together. So congratulations on that. So for the prompt that I chose, actually asked Anne-Marie to send me a few prompts, and I was like, I did what Camari did, and I went with my birthday, which is December 6th, and Martheaus actually beat me to it. So, and this gave me an opportunity to actually revise a poem that I recently wrote. I mean, aside of it being my birthday, one of the reasons that I chose December 6th was because this year has been really tough. I've had to navigate a lot of, challenges and losses and, just kind of figuring it all out. But December 6th, I get to start my year over. And I get to leave all of the pain, the feelings, all of it in 2025. So I'm going to read a poem that I revised and kind of edited a little bit because, revision and editing is also writing. And I want to share this piece about the loss of my cat about a month ago. And it's called Everything You Touch. No one talks about the cleanup, about the fur under the furniture you haven't moved in months, or about the toys whose sound won't move with the swatting of paws, about what to do with the medication and the blankets you use to keep them comfortable through their illness. No one talks about the silence of meows, about the strikes of tail around your calves or the purrs that bring peaceful naps. No one talks about how you will long to comfort them through the sounds of booms and chilly nights, about the last pebble of litter left under the couch and the ones you will step on every now and then in the weeks after they're gone. No one tells you how quiet it will feel after their steps are no longer heard in the hallway of your apartment, about the unconditional love they gave, bringing you hope to wake up every day. No one tells you about the non-judgmental way they will remind you to feed them wet food on time, about the yearning of their presence in this harsh environment. No one tells you about the vacant edge of your bed and the cat trees you will need to throw out from the wreckage of their claws. No one tells you about the emptiness their absence will leave in the pit of your belly, about how your heart will store the pain of their loss in its memory to hold that place only for them. No one tells you how they will mark you with their scent and raspy licks when they've tried to groom the tears and insecurities off your skin. No one tells you how you will regret scorning them for being wild animals you tried to domesticate. No one tells you about the vet bills that will be left as proof that you tried to keep them, of the hollow spaces you will never fill no matter how many times you clean their favorite places. No one tells you how much it will hurt not to have company at the beginning of each day. No one tells you how paws and hands will meet in your last goodbye, how you will try to save them from life's painful lessons until the end, how they will know that that will be their last breath. Their tears will fill their eyes, and you'll remember how every time you've tried to hold on tightly to love, everything you've touched has surely died. Thank you.
Thank you.
And sorry, go ahead, Marie.
Go ahead.
So thank you for letting me share that. He was my first pet, and I will you always remember him dearly. And with that, I'm going to end my piece, and I get the honor of introducing the person of the night who wrote this book and put this book together. And I do, before I read her bio, I want to say a couple of of personal things about Anne-Marie. We met while Anne-Marie was doing the CLI program. It was my first year teaching for the Community Literature Initiative. So I watched her put together, a couple of books of poetry during the time that she was a student. And then also she served as my teacher assistant the following year. So we got to work together and got to learn more about each other. And that's how we became friends over the years. So I am honored to introduce her and also to again say congratulations on this milestone. So Anne-Marie Wells is a queer award-winning poet, playwright, memoirist, and oral storyteller. She is the founder and host of the weekly Zoom show, The Joy of Poeting. Anne-Marie's debut collection of poetry, Survived By, a memoir in verse and other poems, was published through Curious Corvid Publishing in April of 2023. Her chapbook, Mother, won the 2023 Cinnamon Press Pamphlet Contest and debuted in March 2024. Her travel memoir, Happy Iceland, How Icelandic Strangers Taught a Miserable American a Secret to Lifelong Happiness, will launch in June of 2026 with Starbelt Press. She is a freelance copy editor, proofreader, and writing coach. And with that, I welcome Anne-Marie.
Thank you so much, Andy. And I want to thank you so much for your poem about Copal. I also had the privilege of knowing Copal and briefly living with them, the two of them together. And he was such a sweet, sweet, sweetie pie. And I would love for you to send me that poem because I actually have another friend who recently lost their cat. And I feel like that would bring some solace to them. And as you were reading it, it actually reminded me of an interview I did with Camari when Camari was doing Poet Chats a number of years ago. And Camari asked me, and maybe you asked all your guests this, but you asked, what do you think a poet's job is? Or something like that. What is a poet's job? And I had answered to tell the truth. And I think that oftentimes people in general want to hold back some of the more painful or ugly emotions or times in their life. And I feel like poets have a responsibility to bring those to the forefront, to not necessarily share their trauma, but bring stories to the forefront in order for those who have also experienced loss, grief, sadness, other things as well, so that they don't feel so alone and that they know that there are other humans out there experiencing similar things to them. So I really appreciate your poem about Copal, Andy. Okay, enough rambling on my part. So I did the challenge too, and I went through my writing prompt book and chose a prompt. And believe it or not, I didn't actually like do all of the prompts. Like I came up with the prompts, but I haven't actually written pieces for each prompt. A lot of them I have, but not all of them. And for all of the poets here, I'm sure all of you know that this year Andrea Gibson passed away. Oh my gosh, don't cry, Anne-Marie, don't cry. Their death came as a surprise, even though they had been struggling with ovarian cancer for a number of years. I don't know, they just seem so timeless and ageless and wise and kind-hearted and warm-hearted, and it just seemed impossible that their death was impossible, even though it was impending. It just seemed impossible. And it hurt me to go into my book and take the prompt that I wrote about them and put it in the past tense. And so I'm going to read the prompt that I wrote for them, and then also the poem that was inspired by that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna edit this part out of the video. Okay. August 13th, which was Andrea's birthday. While going through chemotherapy, the renowned poet Andrea Gibson recounted in their newsletter, Things That Don't Suck, that as they lost the hair all over their body, their eyebrows stayed intact. One day, their parents called to say that their father had woken up with his right eyebrow missing. Just all of the hairs in the eyebrow fell out overnight. As they concluded in their newsletter, my father's eyebrow left his face, so my eyebrows wouldn't leave mine. Whether you believe in this kind of mystical magic or not, write about a covenant that took place in the spirit world. How did it impact those living in the human world? Now, I started writing to this prompt, and the resulting poem kind of, manifested in a different way, which often happens when you're writing. You have an intention to write something, and then the poem decides that it wants to be something else. And so this is my first time reading this poem. It's called Not the Praying Type, a Prayer. I sold our furniture, our clothes, our son's toys. What I couldn't sell, I gave away to Goodwill. What they wouldn't take, I put on the side of the road. I don't know if we'll be allowed to stay here forever, the way I've been hoping we'll be allowed to stay here forever. All that we've lost, given up, all that we have to rebuild from scratch for this goddamn hope that it'll be worth it, that we'll live our happily ever after, sticky fingers crusted in maple sugar. I'm not the first in my family to seek something here. My great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, my grandmother's cousin's granddaughter, who I learned is only 2 days younger than I am. And out of the 3.85 million square miles of this place, she immigrated with her family only 200 miles from where I immigrated with my family. We all had the same idea somehow, for some reason. I'm just carrying on a family tradition, it seems. Lying on the bottom bunk in an Airbnb, I watch my son's eyelids swaying like hammocks as he suckles his bottle of milk the way he used to suckle my body a year ago. And I'm not the praying type, but I'm the fearful type. And I confess I got on my knees next to the bed as my son fell asleep, and I clasped my hands like a desperate mother does, begged like a desperate mother does, please let us lead the most boring of lives. Let me write my stupid poems. Let my son go to school and never learn how to hide in a closet from a maniacal 18-year-old with a gun. Let us break bones, get cancer, with only the fear of pain and death and grief, and without the fear of medical bankruptcy. And then I prayed some more for the mothers who I know are praying for the same thing, for the same but different things to happen for them in the country I'm trying to divorce. Please let them lead the most boring lives too. All that they've already lost and are still losing to be a part of this great experiment. Please let them have their happily ever afters, their healthy children, their fulfilling work, their safe homes. Please, or at the very least, don't let them, don't let me, don't let us suffer a worse fate than regret. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, everybody, for joining this evening. I appreciate everybody who took time out of your day to listen to some poetry and writing. And this is the end of the evening, but I'll stay for a little while in case anybody has any questions about Starbelt Press or me or the book or anything else. Otherwise, I will say one more big thank you and wish everybody a wonderful rest of your evening.
Congratulations again, Anne Marie. What a beautiful